Hey, Facebook Live, Martin Lopez, author of The Curiosity Theory, and today is day 1 of the GSD Challenge, and day 20 of the GSD Challenge. So I'm doing 31 days of Facebook Live videos on The Curiosity Theory, which is the book I wrote this year, 2016, and we are on chapter 2, talking about facts versus stories. So let's get into it. Have you ever been accused of something you didn't actually do, but were unable to explain away the facts that made you look guilty? Our human tendency is to make assumptions based on a few given facts. Our limited facts make it easy for suspects to look guilty. Let's say, for instance, that creepy-looking guy's fingerprints were on the knife, so he must be guilty, right? We neglect to ask if there were other reasons for his fingerprints, how they got there. Maybe he had to move the knife during a heroic effort to save the victim's life. So the curiosity theory is about asking that single curious question to open up a new conversation of possibility. So what happens often with people is they get accused of something they don't do, they haven't done. And from the accuser's point of view, they've done that because the way that they put together their life, the way that they put together the story, it absolutely makes sense. It absolutely makes sense that that person did it. I go on further to say, in the absence of facts and information, we create all kinds of stories. Some stories are ugly, some are comical, and still others are downright ridiculous. But they all appeal to our emotions. Therefore, we often operate on stories rather than facts themselves. So what I mean by that is that stories are important. You know, I don't want to say that we should make stories. We actually need stories to help us navigate and make sense of life. We use the stories. We use our history. We use the stuff we've learned, and we put those things together so that when we see something, we use a story to know if we're safe or we're not. We know so that we know if we should move forward or move backwards. Very, very important. Human safety is amazing, and the stories help us understand should we respect something. They help us look at challenges. They help us look at all the different aspects of life and our needs. When in conflict, we use assumptions to resolve our situations. So we assume things when we're in conflict. When something happens to us, we use our history, we use our stories, we use these assumptions to navigate and make quick decisions. Otherwise, we can be in trouble. So the faster we can put the facts together and put them into a story, then we know what to do and how to react. The problem is during conflict, we leave things out. So it's a matter of time. So when we're experiencing conflict, it's like life or death. Even if it's not a life or death situation, we still experience it as though it's life or death. So something happens. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're having a great week. This is the best week. You've done really good. You met all your goals. You sold everything you need to sell. You built all the stuff you need to build at work. And it's like Friday afternoons, 3 o'clock, and you get a call from your wife, and she says, "We need to talk." You'd had a great week, but all of a sudden, "We need to talk." It's like, oh, now all of a sudden you're scared. It's like that's what happens to people because. And it's whether the husband calls or the wife calls or the boyfriend or the girlfriend calls, whoever calls. When you get that call, it could be something simple, but our reaction, our assumptions often are the worst. What is the worst possible thing that can happen? Are you going to break up with me? Did I do something wrong? Did I get caught? All that's what happens. And so then we operate quickly. So we're assuming the worst, and that's what happens. That's how we survive. That's how we make sense of life. So as human beings, we're programmed to look out for danger. That's why the news is so popular. That's why we look at the news. So many people are looking at the news to make sure danger is not here and it's over there. So we keep looking. Now think about that. We're looking at the news. What are you really, really looking for? Most people are looking to make sure danger's not at their front door. And if it is at their front door, how close is it from their front door? It's easy to know that there's a war across the ocean. But what if there was a war in our front yard? That changes everything, right? We need to know. We need to know, on gas prices, how much are we going to spend from our income? This is that we need the knowledge, but we're looking for the bad news to be able to navigate through that. That's why news is so important. Unfortunately, the news people know that, and so they keep feeding negativity. Their strategy to sell commercials, they understand the strategy to sell commercials, which is the way you pay these people money, is you got to sell advertisement. So the strategy is to keep people glued to the television. So what's a great strategy? Keep people in suspense, keep people scared. And if I told you, hey, listen, it's going to be a great day today, and there's lots of money, the interest rates are nothing. If you want to buy a house, no problem. You can get a loan, no problem. The seller will sell it to you for any price you want. You're like, no problem. I'm going to chill. I'm going to go to the beach. Because if it's good today, it's going to be good tomorrow, and I'll deal with it tomorrow. But when you find out interest rates are going up, when you find out things are getting more expensive, gas prices are going up, shoot, I got to get over to the gas station and fill my gas tank. And that's what we do, is we feed negative thoughts. So we're programmed this way, and then the media builds on that, and then our relationships build on that. So we're always looking for what our kids are doing wrong, what our spouse is doing wrong, what our co-workers are doing wrong, what the company's doing wrong. That's what we're looking for. And it's not because you want to have things be wrong, it's just the way that we're programmed. So the question, the way I started this whole thing was, have you ever been accused of something you really didn't actually do, but were unable to explain away the facts that made you look guilty? That happens every day. The assumptions have us do that. How do you explain away somebody's assumptions when they're upset with you and they're not listening to you? Using curiosity opens the door up. Opens the door just a little bit, and it gets you starting to look at possibility. So the curiosity theory is about asking that single curious question to change the direction of conflict and move it in a direction that you want to be. Possibility. Open possibility. Creativity. What is it you want? Be curious. Talk to you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.